What's up YouTube? This is going to be your guide on how to use Abomasnow in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I'll be providing competitive movesets and some fun meme movesets too. If there's a Pokemon you'd like to see me cover, put it below in the comment section of the video. If you enjoy these, they help you out, drop a like on the video, and let's get into it. So our first set here we're going to have a look is more of a singles base set for Abomasnow, and looking at its stats too. So its best stats are its health and its attack and its special attack. And that's about it. It is a grass and ice typing, so it's got a quad fire weakness, and many other common types are strong against it too, like fighting and flying. It's got the abilities Snow Warning and Soundproof. Snow Warning is a very good ability, and it's only one of the few Pokemon that actually can summon snow. Sadly, it faces tons of competition from Ninetales Alola, which is the superior snow setter in most cases, but it does have some interesting niches we'll have a look at. So the first set we'll have a look at here is a sweeping set. Now, Abomasnow definitely doesn't have very good speed at all. So you can either run it tanky or you can run it under Trick Room. And I would run it under Trick Room so you can make use of its bulk and you can put everything into special attack as well. So if you're not running Trick Room, you can just go Modest. If you're running Trick Room, you can just go Quiet Nature. So either, whatever you're trying to do. I wouldn't probably recommend running any speed on it because it's too slow and it's not going to be able to outpace any other Pokemon of any real significance. So I would rather, personally, would build, health and special attack. So we got Blizzard, which is a great spammable move with the snow. It's 100% accurate. Giga Drain is a very nice move too, grass move. And if you're, if you're not running Trick Room and you're running Modest or something like that, you can get some health sustain back at the same time. Which is really, really good. If you want to go for a bit more power, you can go for Energy Ball as well. It's got a little bit more base power, and it's got that special defense chance to drop as well. So you got like a little bit more base power than Giga Drain, but Giga Drain does give you a 50% recovery, which is pretty good, keeping Abomasnow alive. Now, you can give it either Aurora Veil. It actually is a good Veil setter. But you can also give it Terra Blast as well. So I've given it Terra Blast. This is a more offensive one, but you could absolutely get rid of Terra Blast and give it Aurora Veil too. I've got Focus Blast on there too because it does struggle with Steel-type Pokemon, just hitting them in general. So Focus Blast is a nice, powerful move, but the accuracy is a bit shoddy, but you don't have a lot to work with Abomasnow. So you can't really choose too much outside of maybe a specific like Terra. So I gave it Terra-type Water. This is really good. Obviously being quad weak to fire, it's a great go-to Terra for sure. And other things like at least fighting and flying and stuff like that, it's not going to be super effective. It's going to be neutral. So that's going to be helpful. Plus, if you have Terra Blast, you can actually do something back to a fire type. You can hit them with a super effective water type move. And that's going to be pretty handy for sure. But you can put Aurora Veil on. Maybe you want to drop Focus Blast because you can still hit Steel types of Terra Blast, Water, things like that. You could go for Terra Ice as well if you wanted some more power on Blizzard and to retain your Ice type and bulk and stuff like that. You could also do Terra Fire too. That's not too bad because you are weak to that. And you could go Terra type Fire and then have Terra Blast Fire. That could be an option too. A more like defensive one. So there's some options for you. There's not too many great ones outside of that, honestly. Some items, especially for singles, I'd run Heavy Duty Boots on this because it's very, very weak to entry as like Stealth Rock. That's something you could definitely run on there. You could also run Icy Rock on there too. That's another good one. Icy Rock is going to obviously increase the snow from 5 to 8 turns. That's a good one. You can do some other interesting stuff like Leaf Storm and something like a Jetpack. That could work too. That's pretty good because you can set your snow up, fire off a Leaf Storm, and eject yourself out of the battle, and then bring it in after the snow's finished or something like that. There are other options and things to run with that too that are pretty good. Another item you can run is choice specs on there. So choice specs gives you even more power and locks you into one move. So choice specs Blizzard is going to drop pretty hard, even on neutral neutral opponents. That's going to be pretty good. So that's definitely another item that you could possibly go for there. I might be tempted to swap Focus Blast up on a choice spec set to Earth Power. Earth Power allows you to hit Fire-type Pokemon and Steel-type Pokemon too. So instead of locking yourself into Focus Blast, it'd be maybe a bit different on the other set because you're not locked in, but I'd say that's pretty good. Or you could, then you could run the Terra Blast Water set if you wanted to, so you could go for that. On the other set, maybe on the Heavy Duty Boot set, you could have Aurora Veil on there instead, and then maybe keep Earth Power. If you want some more power out of there, you could go Focus Blast because you're not locked in. So that's probably how I would go for one in singles on the special side. You might be playing like specific rule set or something like that. You could go a more speedier one, but I can tell you what, it's not very fast, even with. Goodness, we'll do like Modest. I don't think I'd want to go. It's terrible in speed, so you're not really outspeeding anything. So in my opinion, it's better to build bulk on there and don't put EVs in a stat that's going to be just worthless for it, unless you're playing some sort of specific rule set where it outspeeds a certain X amount of counters or whatever like that. It's a slow Pokemon, so you got to build on its strengths, not its weaknesses, right? So Abomasnow can run a reasonable physical set, and let's have a look at it. So this set is based around Grassy Glide, so something like Rillaboom would be excellent on the team to set up the grassy terrain, or Tapu Bulu when that comes back in the game or whatever. So we got Sword Dance here, get Sword Dance, which is a great boosting move. I've got Terra Blast Ground, so I'm able to hit any fire types and steel types. It actually gets Grassy Glide, which is pretty cool. So you get that priority, you get a boost, in power from, for grassy terrain being on the field. And it also has Ice Shard as well. So it's got double priority, which is really nice. So you don't have to run it under Trick Room. You can still go first. And I thought with the grassy terrain in the field, you could give it Grassy Seed, which is going to give you a further defensive bulk plus the snow warning. So you're going to be very tanky on the defensive side. So I thought that'd be quite a cool idea to go for. Alternatively, you could run it under Trick Room as well. I'm not saying you couldn't, but I would possibly swap the moves around. If I was to run it under Trick Room, let's do that right now. I'd have Brave Nature, 0 IVs. Now, you could have a more offensive set with like Wood Hammer. Wood Hammer will definitely eat up your health, so you have to watch out for that. You could have Ice Punch on there instead, Ice Spinner would probably be better, but you've got terrain up, so I'd go Ice Punch. If you're not running any terrains, sure, Ice Spinner's fine. And then, or you could have Seed. It does get Seed Bomb as well, so you could go for Seed Bomb, so that could work. Alternatively, you could have, should get Bullet Seed. So you could have Bullet Seed, and then you could have loaded dice on there too, so that could work. So Bullet Seed would be 100 base power minimum, and I think that would be better than, I don't think it gets Power Whip. No, it doesn't get Power Whip. So that would be your sort of strong grass move, multi-hitting grass move on there. You can still keep the Terra Blast Ground, or you could put Terra Blast Water on there as well, like the special one. That would definitely work too. So that's just another way of running Abomasnow. You can run physical and special. It's better special though. Blizzard and Snow Warning just work so well together. All right, so there's some more singles focus sets. So you could try them in doubles, but I've got some more sets here that are optimized for doubles. Let's have a look at that. Okay, so this set here is a support style Abomasnow, and the EVs are a little bit more involved than the singles one. So let me explain that. So we've got max health EVs, and we've got 168 in defense, and we've got 80 in special defense. I'm just trying to get a little bit of all-round bulkier on Abomasnow, so it does need some special there so it can survive some special attacks. And this gives it like probably the optimum EVs, so I'm not wasting any EVs either. And with the snow, it's going to make Abomasnow bulky on the defensive side anyway. So we've got enough special there to live some decent special attacks, right? So this is going to be an Aurora Veil set with Light Clay. Light Clay is going to extend that. I feel that's more important than running Icy Rock because you can always swap it out and swap it back in to get the snow going, right? So we've got Icy Wind. Icy Wind's a great support style move, dropping speed. I will note, though, I've done a Trick Room one here, so you probably don't want to run Icy Wind if you're running a Trick Room team. I'll just note that now, so I'll just change that to Blizzard since I am talking about a Trick Room set here. But if you're not running a Trick Room one, you could definitely run Icy Wind if you wanted to. If you feel like you need that support for speed drop. Giga Drain's good, just for recovery and helping. It does get helping hand, so that's a nice move to have too. So a nice bulky Pokemon, and it's got Terra-type water as well, so that's going to be very, very useful. And even with no special attack EVs, it's going to do some decent damage too. And you might even get a freeze and stuff too. And it's hitting both Pokemon. So more of a support style set this time. So let's have a look at our next one. This is definitely more of an offensive set. And it's actually kind of similar to the singles one I was talking about too. It's actually very, very similar to it. So this one, I've got Terra-type Fire on there, sure. You could have Water on there as well. You could have Ice. There's quite a few Terras that can work with it. So Max Health, Max Special Attack, Quiet Nature. So this one's going to be good for Trick Room. I would suggest using this in Trick Room. So you've got Eject Pack and Leaf Storm. I did touch on that earlier. So you've got a nice, powerful 130 base power, which is going to be hitting really, really hard, and Eject Pack. And you can sort of choose when to do that too. Like if you don't want to eject out of the battle right away, you could fire a Blizzard off and then go for it. Earth Power, as I mentioned before, is great for Fire-type and Steel-type Pokemon, which give Abomasnow problems. So this is I gave this Protect too. So let's say you're running it in Trick Room and your ally uses Trick Room. Well, you can just simply use Protect that turn, and then you can start attacking afterwards. And it's good for scoping out moves and maybe stalling out the last turn of Trick Rooms that can be reset up again. So that's useful for that sort of stuff. EVs are pretty straightforward here. So Water, Fire, Ground, I guess, could work too. Like there's a few, or Ice. I probably wouldn't go Grass. I probably would avoid Grass. It's not the greatest type, but that's definitely something that can work. And I've got some team suggestions you can run with Abomasnow and stuff. I'll mention those in a sec. So there's some doubles for Abomasnow. Once again, as always, if there's any sets you've got for a Pokemon that maybe I didn't cover or something similar, or that one that works really well for you, you can put it in the comments. Let's have a look at these. Are some more fun style Abomasnow sets. So we're going into meme territory here, but I always like to have a look at everything. So Abomasnow has a way of actually boosting its speed, which is Trailblaze. So if you really, really want a speedy Abomasnow, you can, because it actually gets Trailblaze and it can be a physical sweeper. So this is a Jolly Nature Abomasnow. So we got Jolly Nature, max attack and max speed. It actually gets Earthquake, which is a really good move to hit Fire-type Pokemon and Steel-type Pokemon, which is nice because those Pokemon, really do basically completely cancel out of the battle unless you've got something to deal with them. And I've given this one Swagger. So you're probably wondering why I didn't give it Sword Dance. You could give it Sword Dance as well, but this set actually basically gets Sword Dance and it confuses the opponent. So we've got Swagger and Mirror Herb combination. So I'm holding a Mirror Herb. If I use Swagger on the opponent, they'll get a +2 in attack. So are I, due to Mirror Herb. Plus, they'll be confused too. So I'm getting, I guess you could say I'm getting more bang for my buck there instead of using just Sword Dance. But you could use Sword Dance and give it another item if you really wanted to as well. That would be fine. The last move I've got is Ice Spinner too. So it's a little bit more powerful than Ice Punch. If you've got terrains and stuff on the field, then don't use it. Use Ice Punch. So there you go. That's another physical move set. Or you could even, I was thinking too, you could even maybe try, if you don't want Swagger on there, you could do Sword Dance, or you could do, I mentioned this earlier, you could have the loaded dice and bullet seeds, so that could work too. But it does benefit a lot from getting a sword dance up, because when you go jolly, it's kind of bad. Even if you went adamant, it's still bad. So yeah, it's just not it's just got that really terrible speed stat, to be honest. But we have to give that one a shot. I did Terra Ground on that for Earthquake, so Terra Ground and really hitting those fire types hard. All right, let's have a look at our next PIMPNITE special, and I'm going to go over some counters, which there's a lot for, and most importantly, teammates and some other thoughts. We got another PIMPNITE special here. It's a troll special. So we have got a Rest Sleep Talker Mud Slap Sheer Cold set. This is pure scum. So max health, max defense, EVs, calm nature. We're making this one quite tanky in the defensive side. So snow warning and icy rock, so we have that snow going for as long as possible to give it extra bulk. And Mud Slap to spread any accuracy, drops the opponent, and spam Sheer Cold as much as possible. Heal off any damage of rest, and then, while I'm asleep, I can go Sleep Talk, and hopefully I'll land a Sheer Cold, or if worse, I'll get a Mud Slap and just drop the accuracy, so, some moves might pass on by, so I can keep using Sheer Cold. I gave this one Terra type Electric, because then I'll only be weak to ground, and I don't think a ground type is going to want to come into an Abomasnow anytime soon. So just a beautiful PIMPNITE special there. Hope you enjoy that. Hope you enjoy that set. Definitely give it a try. It's going to be terrible. So now let's get on to some other move sets here. Okay, I'm just going to do some teammates and stuff now. So, of course, other Ice-type Pokemon work well on this team. I have to say Ninetales. I mean, Ninetales is better in general at setting up the snow and Veil. It's just faster and better at doing it. But it definitely can still work on that team. For sure, being an Ice-type Pokemon, Blizzard, great sort of good synergy there. For Ice, and people like to run mono teams as well. Can be a fun thing. Speaking of other ones, you got Frostmoth as well. That can definitely work. With ice scales, that can work, give us some bulk while it sets up Quiver Dances. Probably a little bit better for singles, but that can definitely be a good one too. How about Frost, Rotom Frost? Yeah, so Rotom Frost can be another decent one as well, just for ice types on the team. That could definitely work too. Some other Pokemon that would work well on there, I reckon Baxcalibur is good, because Baxcalibur also being an ice type, if you got Thermal Exchange on there, you can bait out a fire move and then get a free Thermal Exchange. So that could be a rather nice combination too. And one I really like, probably one of my favorite sort of partners with it, or singles or doubles. You can do a Flash Fire Armorogue with Trick Room. So you can set your Trick Room up, or just good synergy in general for Fire-type moves. You can boost up Armorogue's Fire-type move if you swap into it, and then set Trick Room up and have that sort of as an ally with Abomasnow. It can work really, really well. And Abomasnow likes Trick Room too. And Armorogue's not all that fast either, so you can make it somewhat viable under the Trick Room as well, and boost up its Flash Fire, and that could work rather nicely. So, Psychic and Fire type, it's pretty good. And you can also, hit really, really hard with it too. So that's a Pokemon that could be a nice partner for it. I'm trying to think. Let's have a look at some other Fire type Pokemon. And they're good against steel, like any steel type Pokemon as well. You can counter. You've got, Cinderace is good. You've got, I would say Cerulege is pretty good with Flash Fire. Let's see how many Flash Fire Pokemon there is. I was also thinking that, you got like Hisuian, Arcanine, then you got Heatran as well. Those ones can be pretty good. And I just like Armorogue because it resists fighting, right? And you've also got Flash Fires. That's a pretty good combination. Chandelure is a good one as well because you're Ghost type. So that's a nice Pokemon to use too. I think that even gets Yeah, that even gets Trick Room as well. It might be a little bit faster. You might be able to get away with like room service or something like that. But I've done a Chandelure guide before, but that could be another good partner with it if you want to try some of these more lower used Pokemon out. Now, obviously, any Pokemon that puts the opposite style of weather down is going to be a problem. I would say the biggest counter ever is going to be Groudon or Torkoal. Like, they're just going to absolutely destroy it because they've got Fire-type moves and they've got Drought. So, you're cooked, literally. So, that's going to be very bad. That's where Terra Water can come in handy. At least you can tank a Fire-type move if you really want to Terra Abomasnow. Tyranitar is another one too, setting up Sand. That's another problem. So any of those weather Pokemon are going to be very, very bad, especially when you're trying to set up Aurora Veil, because if you don't have the snow up, then you're gonna start running into problems there. So definitely have that. Definitely have something like that covered. So I would say for Tyranitar, you a fighting Pokemon like, I mean, I was gonna say Urshifu. It's good on every team, but yeah, you could have even normal Urshifu. So like, just something to get rid of those steel types on your team. So you want, counters. That would be good. And then maybe an Armor Rogue or something like that, or a Fire type Pokemon that's working with Synergy. And then you could have some other Ice type Pokemon, which I already mentioned before. There's loads of them. So yeah, I was going to say Calyrex. Where were we? Calyrex Ice Rider would be really good as well, especially under the Trick Room would work great for doubles. That's going to be pretty good. And at least with being the Psychic type, finding is going to be neutral there, so that could definitely work too. Let's have a look at some of the other moves that it gets. It's pretty... Yeah, there's not too much more you can really do with the Abomasnow. So we've gone over Veil. It can somewhat use Curse. It could be like a stalling set with Leech Seed as well, like defensive tank. That could work too. Overall Veil, Leech Seed, Giga Drain sort of build there. We've got Protect. Yeah, Rest Lead Talk, we went over that. Sword Dance, we went over. It can be a physical set. It does get Growth, but I don't know why you would need Growth unless you're making like a Troll set or using Abomasnow on a Sun team, which would be crazy. He gets Helping Out, which is great for doubles there. Ingrain. Ingrain's such a difficult move to use because it traps you in. So that'd be, I don't know, have to be something maybe Ingrain or Leech Seed or something like that, but it doesn't get too much stuff. It gets Snowscape. You can reset your Snipe or whatever if you really wanted to, but that's a status move. It's pretty limited there. And pretty limited here as well. So we've got Blizzard. It does get Chilling Water. If you could try that maybe on a support style set to drop the opponent's attack or something for fire types, but I'd be probably swapping out or using a different move. So Earth Power is good for Steel and Fire. Energy Ball is a good alternative to Giga Drain if you want some more base power at the cost of recovery. Grass Knot, there's not too much use to have Grass Knot on there unless you're playing a rule set where there's a lot of heavy, like a Smogon rule set where there's a lot of heavy Pokemon in that tier. It might become better, but depends. I think most of the time Energy Ball and Giga Drain are going to be better. Ice Beam, there's no point in using Ice Beam ever because it's got Blizzard. Leaf Storm's good for those Eject Pat sets. It's a good once-off big hit. Terra Blast. Terra Blast is good for coverage like Fire, Water, those sort of things. Weather Ball's it's not too bad either. You've got 100 base power. It might be a bit better. Maybe for doubles it could be a bit better because say if the opponent does set up a Sun or something, you've at least got a Fire Weather Ball or you've got a Sand Weather Ball or Sand, but mostly I think you don't need that at all. I think Blizzard's better. Icy Wind, I've gone over that for support. And Sheer Cold if you want a troll set. There's not too many other things it can actually do. Let's have a look at its physical moves. Oh, it actually gets Avalanche as well. So you can make like a slow set of Avalanche. And it does get Ice Shard too, which I did mention. Even on some of these like support sets, you can throw on Ice Shard just to finish, like have a finishing moves. Like there's a few Sash Pokemon out there, so that could be handy as well, just popping Ice Shard as a filler move if you really wanted to, if you're struggling for a last move. I've gone over most of these moves here. There's nothing. A Trailblazer is its only real way of going fast. And Bullet Seed, you can do a loaded dice set. Interesting, it gets hard press. That's a cool move. And Stomp, if you're using a physical one and doubles and you're looking for, I don't think it gets high. No, and you don't want to use Earthquake. You got Stomping Tantrum as a way to hit Steel and Fire as well instead of Earthquake. So that could be an option if you want to use a physical one. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Abomasnow. Abomasnow is not a bad Pokemon. It's quite interesting. It does have some niche under Trick Room compared to something like Alola Ninetales, but Alola Ninetales mostly does the job better. But it does have a good niche of being a physical and a special attacker, and it can work under Trick Room. So it could be a slower Pokemon. And yeah, that's sort of it's a bit of a difference there if that's what you're looking for in a Pokemon. But anyway, hope you enjoy this one. If you did, drop a like, drop me a comment there if you've got any other ideas or you want to see any other Pokemon, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.